What's up, gentlemen? JP coming at you with the movement today, and I am always blessed with the presence of my boys Cam,
Howdy,
Wilson,
What's going on?
and O.
what's up, guys?
And we are the Shepherds of Men. We're going to bring it to you hot today. Cameron did a disclaimer in the last episode. I don't feel like I need to go through the whole disclaimer thing, but if you have sensitive ears or you're just really sensitive by nature, then
sensitive skin or
yeah,
anything.
or sensitive skin, anything that's super sensitive, then maybe this episode you should just skip, or maybe you should listen. I mean, I don't know. I'm a firm believer. I've heard Cam say that in the past. Like, maybe you should listen.
Grow thicker skin.
Yep. And if something hurts, maybe you should look at why. Because most of the time, it's going to reveal some things in your life that you need to fix.
I was actually listening to a comedy guy or a comedian earlier, and he was talking about how the truth hurts, and a couple scenarios about it. It was hilarious. But anyway, yeah, truth hurts. It's okay. It's meant to. It's supposed to teach you something.
Yeah. Well, so just to quickly recap, because this is kind of going to build off the last episode. So in the last episode, Cam hosted, and he talked about goals. Got goals. Kind of like got milk without the mustache.
Right.
That's what you said.
There's a whole generation of people who are going to be like, I don't get it.
Oh, man, dude.
And youngins.
You talk about, like, starting to realize your age just a little bit. When you start talking about stuff to younger kids and you say something that's funny and they look at you like, what? Dina did that to me on the playground. I can't even remember what I said, but I said something to one of these little kids, and I was like, just waiting for the reaction. He kind of looked at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? And walked off, and Dina went, you're so old.
Did you just say New Kids on the Block?
Right?
Oh, man.
Great.
So, but it is going to segue. It's going to build off of what the last episode was, and that's about creating goals. But it's not enough to just create goals. We're going to talk about burning the ships, and we're going to talk about putting your back against the wall. Because there is no retreat. If you truly want to do something great, you can't retreat. You can't run away. There can't be an off ramp where you go away from challenges that are going to arise. Because if you want to do something great, or you want to do something good, you're going to get some tomatoes thrown at you. You can get some arrows shot at you, but you got to take them some bitches. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, and you got to take them, or you're going to be stronger because of it. And one of the things that I just believe as a society we've become soft. We don't achieve the goals that we have or set in place because we're a bunch of sissies. And I'm just going to put that as straightforward as I possibly can. I've seen too many people back out of situations just because it gets too hard.
The pussification of the American man.
It's too fucking hard.
It's too hard.
It's too hard for
Is that
me.
Adam Sandler?
I don't know, man. There's a part of it. There's a part of it that hurts my feelings a little bit. My son Maverick today was sitting on the couch playing with his little tablet while I was getting ready to come over here, and he was playing a racing game, and he was getting mad because the thing that he was racing against apparently was beating him and stuff, to the point where, like, I saw some tears coming out the side, like he was getting so mad and stuff, and he was like, I'm just not beating him. And I was like, what do you need to do? He said, race him again. I was like, that's right. He said, race him again, go again, and that's what I teach my boys. Like, go again, do it again. Like, don't give up, don't take the off ramp. So what we're going to talk about is kind of having your back against the wall, because I'm a firm believer that if you want to succeed in life, you got to live offensively, not defensively. Right? So you don't let the stuff happen to you. You have to happen to it. So in order to live offensively, you got to be on the balls of your feet. The balls of your feet is the spot right behind your toes, just in case you don't know that. So you need
anatomy up in here.
Yeah, you need to be moving forward.
You need to have some footballs.
That's right.
Hey.
Use need to be moving forward.
Mama said foosball's the devil.
But I just in light of all the put this really, really lightly and politically correct bullshit that's been going on. Thank you, Cameron, for the politically correct answer there. The bullshit that's been going on in the country right now, to be honest with you, and I'll leave that up to you to what you believe is bullshit that's going on in the country. What we have is a bunch of spineless men that are flopping around in the streets and crying and stuff about all kinds of different problems that they have that they're blaming on everybody else. One of the things that I wanted to talk about real quickly is kind of your own perspective on how this country was founded. Because I saw a bunch of men that came over here and fought one of the biggest powers on the planet to keep the country. Now, some people will say, you came over here and you just enslaved people and you just killed Indians and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But, the fact of the matter is some people don't understand history. Some people don't understand the fact that tried to coexist with the Indians. That was unsuccessful. So at that point, what do you do? I mean,
well, first of all, the plague that we brought, our diseases, our foreign diseases, what killed most of them.
Wait a minute, I wasn't here, so don't put that shit on me.
Well, our forefathers or founding fathers who migrated over here, their diseases that they brought with them killed more of the Indians than the wars. Yeah, the smallpox and all that stuff. Yeah,
coronavirus or something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, smallpox and alcohol.
Really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah. We brought alcohol.
And they got
and they ain't never seen alcohol.
That ain't peyote.
They ain't never seen alcohol. But
they did not know thy limit.
Yeah, but so the point was these guys had a vision, like we talked about. They had a goal and a vision to create a free country. And they were willing to stake their life on it. Now, if that's not putting your back against the wall, I don't know what is. These guys literally signed a piece of paper that they knew that if they didn't win, they would be hung. Now, if that's not a great example of burn the ships, like that's you either win or you die. There is no other option.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If you read Freedom's Frame and by Rick Green, he has a lot of good information
Great
about
stuff.
it. The wallbuilders.com.
Wallbuilders.com, yep.
Really good place to get some more resources about your history. But everyone that signed it died and lost everything that they ever had.
Shockingly enough, all those guys back in the 1700s died.
Well,
they're not still alive.
Well, duh. But like because of the wars, I know they did. But
that's the first I heard of this, Chris. I'm trying to come to terms with the fact that our founding fathers died.
You know what I mean? They died during all this events of gaining our freedom and lost literally everything that they ever had, putting everything on the line for not just themselves, but for everybody's future to have a freedom that we get to share today.
It was guys with backbone that understood, that had seen the other side of it. They had seen what their life was like in Britain or wherever they came from. Not all, I don't think all of them were from that area, but it's we've talked about this even more recently. Like, there is a part of me that what I respect so much about that and love so much about that is that, and some people will think this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but there's a part of me that's like, I would rather live free with the potential to maybe die than to have security and be enslaved. And I know I'm not enslaved like I'm chained to a tree or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, enslaved with, I don't have the liberties and the freedoms that any person that was created to be on earth should have, right? The things that I was created with. If I don't have those, then what's the point? So maybe it's not an easy decision, but it's you can understand why they were like, okay, we can either succumb to, Great Britain again, or whatever, and we can, do what they tell us to do, or we can say, fuck that, we're going to do our own thing. Well, you could die. Yeah, we could, but I'd rather do that than live this way.
We're going to die
Right.
anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We believe
it is death to live that way.
Right. And that's a big thing about, and I know that we're talking about extremes, but that's one of the ways that I think when you start setting goals, especially when you start talking about family, faith, some of the pillars that we're talking about and stuff like that, maybe you should take that approach. Maybe there is no way out. Maybe I create this goal, I'll be damned if I don't accomplish it. Like, and that's where we miss things, because we get an out. We get an out, and then we point fingers at everybody else, right? Because that's the society that we live in nowadays, right? It's like, oh, well, I was going to run, but this guy had his car parked right in the middle of the road, and I was like, I'm not going to run around it. That asshole parked right in the middle of the road. I can't run.
Dude, it makes me
want
to vomit when I hear shit like that, and it drives me insane.
And I know I'm kind of making light of it and stuff like that, but to be honest with you, that's the biggest problem with our country today is nobody worries about their fucking selves. They're too worried about pointing the finger at somebody else, and that's something that we got to get better about. And I'm telling you right now, man, start owning your life. Stop pointing the finger at everybody else. Stop looking for a handout. Own your life. If every man would own his life and live a life of principles and seek out good mentorship, it would blow your mind what this country's capable of.
It is
blow your mind.
You are inevitably burning your ships when you own your life, because you're literally just counting on you. You can't put it off on anybody else. Right. Like, the outcome is solely dependent on you. Now, is that completely true? I don't, for my life as a believer, and I don't think that every outcome in my life is solely dependent on me. I do believe that there are things that I need to do. Like God can't do anything with me if I'm just going to sit around.
No,
right? So the whole thing about he can't steer a parked car. Yes, he can, but it's not moving forward, so it doesn't really matter if it's steering.
You just create a bald spot on the tire.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
He'll push you.
So let's just go with a Pareto. Let's go with 80-20 rule with it. Why do 80% of the population underachieve? What do you think are some of the driving factors on why 80% of the country just underachieves? In a country as great as ours, it's free.
I'm gonna tell you what I believe it is right now, and I say this all the time, but it is the dads. It is the dads aren't there. The dads aren't right. The father figure is not in their life. And I'm telling you, there is a huge void. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it, whether you want to admit it or not. Everybody knows it. I mean, it's factual. It's numbers. It's right in your face. But there is such a deficit when it comes to a father figure in young people's lives and then young adults' lives that they fall into that 80%. Like that creates such a and we've sent some things out, I think, recently on social media about the numbers of like how the incarcerations go up, or the alcohol abuse goes up, or drug abuse goes up, or whatever it is, whatever the thing may be, or just flat out laziness. Like not being a productive member of society, maybe because of depression. It may be a real thing, but what does it stem from? In my opinion, a lot of that shit stems from not having a good relationship with a dad that raised you.
Yeah, I think parents, father for sure. Giving him the easy way out, like the everybody gets a trophy. You don't earn anything. Lack of ownership, lack of pride in your own self, of saying, hey, I accomplished something that nobody else could accomplish. Lack of stretching, lack of just really any desire. Nobody instilling in you the things that you should do, or say, hey, taking the initiative. A lot of parents want to say, here's an iPad. Go leave me alone. You're bothering me. Instead of being actually involved in that kid's life and say, hey, here's what you're really good at. Here's your strengths. This is what you should probably go do in your life to make a difference. Instilling just those positive reinforcements that they lack. Kids need your attention. And when you just throw it off to, here, iPad's going to train you today. They're going to be your parent today.
Yeah, it will train you.
They will.
Yeah.
And they'll turn them into mindless zombies. They can't think for themselves. They don't have any adversity because you've sheltered them so much to where you don't want them to fall and hurt themselves or do anything. That's not the right way of parenting.
Dude, I want to speak on that.
Go ahead.
That whole everybody gets a trophy bullshit. Like, it drives me insane. And my 5-year-old started T-ball this year, and I think it's great. And I get it. Like, they're not in the World Series of the Major League MLB or whatever. I get it. But they're also learning lessons, life lessons. And, like, you can say, hey, we're just here to have fun. And I agree. There's an aspect of it if we do want to just connect with other friends and we want to have fun. But if I'm telling my kid that when they threw it to first and they tagged the base before you got here and it's okay for you to stay here, that's bullshit. No, you're out. Why am I out? Because you didn't run fast enough, or you didn't hit the ball far enough, or they just did what they were supposed to do before you did what you were supposed to do. You're not crushing their self-image. You're building them up. Like, let them grow, man. Like, send their ass to the dugout and let them learn from it. And I have these people that are just like, oh, we're just going to let them run the bases. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
No, they didn't earn that.
No, we can't run the bases. Get your ass out here after the game and run the bases or something if you want to.
There's a dichotomy to that too. I mean, you need to be playing by the rules, obviously, but longevity of your kid's interest in said sport will be because it is fun. So yes, that does need to be fun, but not everyone needs to win. Like, it needs to suck a little bit too, so that they have something they're striving for. Your kid needs to lose in order to want to win.
And you don't have to bust their chops for being out. You still, like, make it a fun, like you said, it's important. Make it a fun game. You don't need to, like, wear them out like, you suck. None of that stuff, but they should learn a lesson.
They won't want to play sports. You do that. That's
exactly
fine.
Right.
And then you'll have some kind of distaste because that's my kid that doesn't like to play sports. Well, no shit. You fucking talk shit to him all the time. I wouldn't want to fucking play sports either.
For the last 10 years, you've talked shit about his bad performance.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna tell you what my wife tends to say all the time about sports being fun. She said, "You know what's fun about sports? Winning."
Hell yeah.
And then you create a path. You know how to win? Do it again. Do it again. Strike out again. Strike out again. strike out again. Strike out again. Wayne Gretzky, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You're not going to make them all. You're not going to win all the time. But guess what? If you keep doing it, you'll win more. And then you'll win most of the time. And then you'll win all the time. But it's not because somebody handed it to you. It's because you earned it. There's a huge difference there. And that's a good call out.
So your 80-20 rule?
Yeah.
This is going to sound really insensitive, and you guys know I'm really good at being that way.
So let's say, hold on a minute. Do you really want to ruin your image? Because, everybody looks at you as being a really sensitive individual.
I know. You know what? And that's what I love about it. So
hey, they can see you now, so you need to smile. Make sure.
Yeah.
At least give them a wink at the end of it.
The beard makes you look really sensitive. You should be drinking like a beer out of a horn.
I've got actually have the horn. Yeah, I can do that now. That's right. Yeah, that's cool. I got to be. So it really is. I think it's from where I'm sitting, we have these problems, and yes, they can be fixed. I got to be honest with you. I don't really give a shit about the 80%. I'm interested in fixing my household to be in the 20%. So, and I'll be honest with you, like, if you want to be in that 80, if you want to be over there and you want to give your kid trophies, like, I'm not going to be like, motherfucker. I'm not going to, like, that's you, man. Your pursuit of what you believe your happiness is with your family is great. My kids are going to win. Right, and that's because they earned it. And if they eat shit and they lose, then I'm gonna teach them how to overcome. Right, we're gonna make mistakes one time, and we're gonna learn from them, and we're gonna move on. We're gonna grow. The 80%, dude. Oh, what's wrong with America? 80%. Oh, this is what's wrong. That's great, man. I think everyone knows what's wrong, but no one wants to make any fucking changes about it. So I got to be honest with you. I don't spend time thinking about the 80%. I'm thinking about how I can keep me and this House O'Donnell, in the 20, right? Because I'm raising a daughter, I'm raising a son. I'm 50-50 in this house, right? We're done, and I got a couple shepherds, right? So it's so funny because you can see when people come over. My husky shepherd's a little extra, so he likes to jump sometimes. But you know what's funny is you can see the growth throughout my life and where I started applying principles because my black shepherd fucking doesn't. And we got her 7 years after my first dog. My first dog, I didn't train not to jump on people and be all extra. My second dog, I did. Unfortunately, she can't teach him for whatever reason. But my 4-year-old son still jumps on people. I'm not having whatever that is. But honestly, guy, like we talk about focusing on the positive all the time. The 80%. I get what you guys are talking about. I know what we're talking about in this episode. I understand. But for me personally, I'm on the same page. I agree with what you guys said with what's wrong in the 80%, why there's an 80-20. But the only way for me to go where I need to go and where I need to lead this family to as my responsibility and my duty in this family is to focus on the 20%. What I need to do to keep this family in a 20%.
That's certainly valid. I'm glad you brought that up because, I mean, the fact of the matter is if you lead leaders, you grow. Right, and as we're focusing on what we're doing here in our purpose for Shepherds of Men in the movement is to lead leaders. It's not really to go out and change the 80% because it goes back to what we talked about last episode. A man's going to do what a man wants to do, right? And there will always be an 80%. There always has been, right? Now, why is it there? We come up with a lot of theories for it. But if we do focus on the 20, and probably more importantly for us is focusing on the 2. Then that's where you really start making a difference because there's going to be a smaller percentage of people, just like the people that founded this great country. Yep. It wasn't a huge percentage. People don't realize that. A lot of people don't realize that. It was a very small percentage of people that said, no, screw this. It ain't going down like this.
Well, if you look at history, every great change in this country's history has been by a minority of people. And I'm not saying the minority. I'm not talking about, blacks or Mexicans or Asians or whatever you consider minority. It has been by a minority, which I mean is a small percentage of individuals that believed that way. Changed a lot of the course of this country. So one of the and the original question, the reason I asked, the original question was why do we underachieve? And now that can go across the board, right? Because the 20% still underachieve. There's people in the 20% that underachieve for sure. No, Neil, I 100% agree with you. My focus is on the 20%, and in some areas of my life, my focus is on the 2%. So from I'll just be honest with you, from a physical perspective, when we're talking about CrossFit and potentially competing in long term and stuff like that, I'm looking at what the 2% are doing. I'm not looking at what the 20% are doing. I'm looking at the 2% are doing. But if we're talking about other areas in my life where I can get better, where maybe I haven't focused as much in the past, I may look at the 20%. But it all depends on where you stand in. But so for me, one the reasons that I believe that people underachieve is fear, doubt, excuses, retreat, and a lack of commitment. And all those are products of an easy way out. We have created an easy way out today, and we have allowed people to be weak, for a lack of better words. I feel like we've allowed people to be that way because the people that are the actual producers in this country that actually do shit don't have time to bitch about what you're not doing. So the ones that do have time to bitch about what everybody else is not doing are the ones that get the loudest voice, which kind of sucks, but you should take that into account, right? You know, the guilty dog barks first kind of mentality and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, the ones that don't have their backs against the wall, the ones that haven't burned their ships yet, that have all these different outlets like, oh, it's the government's fault. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're blaming shit on the government, then you got a fucking problem. Because if you haven't read the Constitution or you don't understand your rights as an individual in this country, it's your responsibility. It's your fault.
Take care of yourself.
That's like going out here and looking at all these plumbers and stuff like that and then hiring the cheapest one that's got the worst reviews and letting them come into your house and then blaming the plumber for doing it. You did it, dumbass. Not him. You hired him. Goes back to the extreme ownership thing that we talked about all the time. You know, and I know this is somewhat harsh, and some of you guys that are listening right now are going to hear it and go, God dang, why y'all so fired? It's freaking true, man. These are principles that are tried and true. Take ownership in your life and remove any of the outlets. Like, stop letting yourself off the fucking hook. If it hurts, let it hurt. Move forward.
Well, it's just it's lives lived with always that cushion that shouldn't have been there. Right. You know, it was always that grandmother or that school teacher or school system or the government or whatever that they could always fall back on. So there was never consequences, you know? And so now it's created this mentality and this lifestyle of, you know, I can do dumb shit or I can not try hard or I can be weak, you know, because if I'm weak, it's fine. Somebody's going to catch me.
Yeah. Right.
No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. Somebody should have let you fall so you know what it feels like. Yeah. And so you figure out how to not fall or how to fall and get better from it.
I mean,
you know?
in our personal life, we're talking about kids and stuff, and made a reference about, you know, you can probably give your kid a free trophy or whatnot, but that's not going to happen in our house. I see that a lot where my son will be around a certain influence that maybe not be the best influence, and then he comes home and still try to act like that person. I'm like, no. Who are you? What do we do? You know, you gotta correct that. And even if you are quote unquote too tough on your kid, which I don't believe that for anything, but my mother will come up, his grandmother, he loves her to death, and she'll sometimes, you know, kind of step in. I'm like, no. We're raising men.
You got to
here.
watch the grandmas, and I love you. I love all the grandmas, love them, and I know where your heart's at. But stop letting the grandkids be weak, especially the dudes. I'm just telling you, just mind your business. That's all. Just mind your business.
I think everybody plays a part, and I think that you should just
they play an important part, and they should stay in their lane.
Stay in your lane.
That's the big part.
Yeah,
it's important, but you have to stay in your lane. I've had conversations that were uncomfortable conversations in that exact arena. That was like, the next time that you undermine me,
you will not be allowed.
You
to
will not. Yeah, because
exactly
I'm not going to tolerate it. This is my child.
Because it's that important, and that's the thing is that I know you're trying to get across, and why you're saying why we are so fired up, because it's that important. Are you telling me that you would tell somebody's grandma, you would tell your kid's grandma not to come back to your house? Yes, if it meant that if she came back that they would be lesser of who they could be, right? It's not my responsibility to make her happy. It's not my responsibility to even make my kid happy. It's my responsibility to raise my kid to be a man, right? And if there is potential for that to cause a chink in the armor or to create weakness, and listen, don't misunderstand when we're saying weakness. We're not saying like, oh, you know, a man never cries. No, we're not talking about that. And we're just saying like, instead of being a bitch, right? I mean, truthfully, I don't know how else to put it, but like, if they are not developing into who they should be as a man to fill the roles and the responsibilities they have because of certain relationships, yes, it is my responsibility to make sure those relationships don't influence them. Yep. 100%.
Well, it's like we talked about that earlier. You know, it's one of those things where, we had this discussion as far as work comes. work is concerned. If you come to me and you're not solution seeking, in my mind, you're just bitching. You're just whining. At that point, you're just being a crybaby. That's it. You're just looking for sympathy, and you have none here. I'm just telling you, I've got no sympathy. And I think one of the reasons that I don't have a ton of sympathy about me, and some of it might be to a fault, is because I earned everything I have. Everything. Everything. Everything I have. There's nothing in my house. There's nothing that I own today that I did not earn based off of something that I did or a relationship that I created. There's stuff that's been given to me, but it was because of making deposits within relationships and stuff like that. But I take pride in earning everything that I have. But what we talked about in the last episode was about creating goals. When you create goals, it's great. You should create that vision, like we talked about, to create a pull. But the fact of the matter is, you become what you tolerate. And for me, what you tolerate is what you allow yourself off the hook with. What you allow people the poison you allow people to put in your mind. Man, it's all right, Cam. If you don't, I know the Shepherd Challenge is really cool and something that you should do, but if you don't run this more, it's not that big of a deal. Come on, man. What are you really going to gain? Just running this more. And people will put poison in your head. And if you don't think that they will, you're out of your freaking mind. You deal with it all day long. But you become what you tolerate in life. And I think if you put your back against the wall and you burn the boats and you make a decision, which means to cut off, right? You make a decision to move forward toward your goal. Whether you hit the goal or not, you don't go backwards. There's only forward. That's the only place you can go. There's nowhere else to go. So this episode, I really want to talk about drawing that line. I want to talk about drawing that line in the concrete. I want to talk about putting your back against the wall and stuff. And I know if you guys haven't heard Dwayne Johnson talking about putting his back against the wall, he's got a really good YouTube episode that you guys can go check out if you want to. I'll put a plug in there for him. But he's talking to a sports team. I think he was talking to the Lakers or something like that. But he was talking about having $7 in his pocket or something like that. And that's why all his stuff is like $7, production, $7 this, $7 whatever. He was in a bad spot, and he said from that point on, he put his back against the wall constantly because he knew that there was nowhere to go but forward, and he had to go forward. And he put himself in a position where there was no way out, and we've got to get back to that position where there is no way out. This is it. You make a decision and you execute. That's it. If you're getting shot at or something like that, you make a decision on what you're going to do and you execute, right? You either you do it or you die. So if you guys haven't heard the burn the ship story, there was a old, I don't know if he was an admiral, commander, whatever you call him. No, it wasn't Napoleon. I think it was I can't even remember.
Spanish. Was it Spanish?
It was Spanish. He was going from Cuba to South America.
Conquistador or something like that. Conquistador. Whatever it is. Is that right? Is that all right?
No, that's not right. That's a Wilsonism right there. So I'll get it to you here in a second. But so what we talked about is people dreaming past where their work ethic is actually held. So part of it is making goals that are achievable or stretch yourself to achieve them. But then behind that is putting that wall up where people can't even tell you. Like, it should be offensive if somebody comes in there and goes, you ain't got to do all that, man. I know you're trying to do something, but you don't have to do all that. Like, we get it, man. You're working really hard. Everything's all right and stuff like that. Like, I don't need people like that around me. I need people around me that are going, dude, look, you've been working your ass off, man, but slacking over here, don't be a little bitch. That's what I need in my life. I'm telling you right now, I don't need somebody to pamper my ass because I know I'm not going to get any better that way. I can choose to stay the same, or I can choose to move forward. Moving forward is not comfortable, and we know that. We all know that.
I'm thinking about something like as you're saying that. I'm thinking about the Shepherd's Challenge we've been doing. We're in month number 3, and that is very much a mindset of painting yourself in a corner, so to speak, or putting your back up against the wall. Because what we have chosen to do is keeping ourselves accountable, but then we put it out to our following. We put it out to everybody. We put it out on the World Wide Web, as it's called. Because then it becomes. Listen, I'll be honest with you. If you can put that out there and say this is what we're challenging each other to do every day this month, to everybody, and then you just, and I believe it's just a choice, you just choose not to do it, you're a better man than me. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Now, am I perfect? Hell no. Have I missed things? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I've missed a day of reading. You know, I've done those things. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, it should create some kind of fire in you where you go, okay, I have literally my word. I've given people my word that I'm going to do this. Now, if you don't want to, don't do it. But that's just one example, right? And I was thinking of something the other day. Actually, it's a buddy of mine that I found out is not doing too well health-wise, guy I used to work with or whatever. And I had made a promise to him years ago. There was something he wanted. Like he's old, he's about probably 15 years older than I am. And it's something he wanted, and I told him, you know what? When I get to where I'm going in life, you're getting this, okay? And so now I found out that, you know, I don't know how bad it is, but it's not good. And I just got to thinking about, you know, I told the dude this. And so for me personally, and I'm not saying you got to be wired this way, but I don't think it'd be bad. For me personally, it has been eating me up for the last couple of days that I haven't accomplished the level that I want to accomplish in order to get him. And it's a material thing, okay? Don't misunderstand, but it's a material thing that matters to him. And I gave him my word that I would make it happen because he's the kind of, like, this dude is like, he would give you his left arm. I mean, he is like the most kind and loyal and serving person you've ever met in your life. I don't think any of you guys know him. Amazing guy, like one in a million kind of guy. And he just deserves it. He just deserves for somebody to go, I'm just going to get you something because you do so much for everybody else. And it's been eating me up. And I'm thankful that years ago I told him that I would, because it literally now has come back to me and is going, remember what you said? Yep. Remember what you said? And so it's like burning me to do more, you know?
And that I'm glad you said that, because that's what I wanted to go into from a practical perspective is what do you guys do to put your back against the wall and to kind of, metaphorically speaking, burn the ships? What do you guys actually do to accomplish that when you're looking at goals?
You got to cut the fat. You got to cut everything out of your life that's not going to matter, that's going to keep you from getting whatever you're setting out to do. So, and also at the same time, if there's something that gives you joy that you're cutting out, like say you like to play golf, and you go golfing quite a bit, but it's not getting you where you need to be in life because you're not going pro, you're not making any money, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about money, but most people can correlate with this. So if your goal is to, you know, reach $250,000 in a year, and you're spending the majority of your time on a golf course because you love it so much, but it's not gaining you anything, then that you would need to cut out and then start refocusing on what you need to do. But then when you start to hit those milestones that you set out as goals, go to the golf course. That way it'll keep your vision and your dream alive because you know you're doing this for that particular reason, or whatever it is. If it's something that, you know, you want a new Land Rover or whatever, if it has to be materialistic, you know, set goals and then go visit a Land Rover dealer and sit in the car. Keep your vision so crystal clear that what you're trying to accomplish, it just gives you tears. If it doesn't give you tears when you think about it, you probably don't have a crystallized goal or dream or whatever it is that you're looking to accomplish. So putting your back against the wall is getting rid of anything that's going to distract you from whatever your purpose is.
Paul used to say, I know you guys heard him say this all the time. He's like, if it doesn't make you want to fight or cry, it's not motivating you. It's not, or inspiring you, whatever you want to look at that. It just isn't. To answer your question for me, it's saying it out loud. It's saying it out loud to other people. It's putting it out there in the universe and telling other people this is what I'm going to do. Because then it becomes, if you don't, you know, that's all I can think about. If I don't, then who am I? You know, what am I really? And then it's saying it out loud to myself a lot too, you know, or even internally saying it, you know, internally a lot, just reminding myself of what the goal is or what the mission is, the vision is. Truthfully, that is the one thing that I can do that will ultimately make me give everything I've got, is just saying it.
I think for me, it's more of the no plan B, I bet you can't mentality. Like that's definitely my hot button is, you know, well, I don't know, Chris, that's a pretty lofty goal. That's all I need to hear. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think you're reaching. Oh, okay. No, I think you're projecting onto me what you feel about that goal. That is no indication of my ability to achieve it, and I'm going to shove it down your throat when I do. So prepare to get dunked on. So that's more of my motivation than anything. Not at all. Not at all. No. There will be zero love on it.
Zero love.
No hate, but there will be zero love. It'll just be right there in the middle. No, because people like that ruin it for weaker people. People that maybe finally getting the balls to go and like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then someone walks up and goes, I don't know, man, you know what the percentage is of success and blah, blah. And that person gets in their head and they're like,
plant that seed of doubt.
Yep. And it's all it takes. And you just fucking ruin that guy or girl, you know? And you have no idea you did it, but you should feel like shit you did. And if you're one of the people listening to this and you've done that before, shame on you. Yep. So you can atone. You can atone for it. I promise you. But that's one thing I don't think I've ever done. I think I've always seen, and this isn't me on a high horse. Don't misunderstand. I've always seen the best in people, and I've always rooted for people. Yeah. You know, I had friends that wanted to play in Nashville. I was like, bro, let's do it. You know, let's freaking go for it, man. You know, I got a guy on my team that right now that just released his, or he's having an EP producer and whatnot, and he's just a songwriter, and the guy could crush it on his own. Yeah, man. And I'm like, what are you kidding? He's like, I don't really want the artist life. I'm like, dude, you would crush this. You'd be unbelievable. And I never understood that, you know. And then me and Candy started a business a while back, and people, that's exactly the same. You know what the percentage of the success is on that? 50-50. We either fucking do or we don't. How about that? Pretty damn good odds, you know. But as far as lining goals up and stuff, I'm same as Cameron. I have I'll use the word magical. I have this ability that I'm convinced that I can speak things into existence. And I mean, to the point where I still to this day am just convinced that I spoke my son's appearance and sex into existence from 6 weeks of pregnancy, dude. You know, it was ridiculous. This boy, his name's Eric, and he's redheaded. Like, was he born you already? No, she's 6 weeks pregnant. You know, like, it's just, I think there is a power of the spoken word. You know, I think that if you're that convicted about what you're going to achieve, that you convince yourself that you're going to fucking get it, you'll have it. Dude, everything in this room, like, I was sitting there, I was going to make a smart-ass response to what you said, like, when you said, no one's given me anything. I'm like, actually, man, this whole room in studio was given to me.
Given to you.
Yeah.
No, I earned this.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because this was all given to me. You know, fuck no, dude. But this has been a dream for a while, like 8 months now, I think it's been. We're like, I want something that's going to be good enough for us to take our podcast to the next level. And this isn't it either. This isn't the end. You know, I'm going to end up shredding all this. Like, this is all going to come down. When we buy a place, like, my goal is to have a actual shop that I can turn into a professional studio, right? This is what I can do right now. This is the best I can do right now, but minus adding maybe some more sound panels on the ceiling or something. But that's the thing. Is what you're achieving the best you can do right now? Is that it? Or I mean, everyone should be like, no, I got more in me, you know? What's next? What's the next step? Like, bam, hit my goal. What's next? Like, that's the excitement I have. And maybe that's a video game thing. I don't know. Like, it bred in me from 3 years old on or whatever, from Super Mario or whatever. But it's like, sweet, I beat that level. What's next? You know?
Yeah. Well, it's always a progression. I mean, we talk about that all the time. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. There's no stagnant. There's no such thing. But I want to go back to something you said about, you know, people going, oh, I don't know. Do you know what the percentage chance is or whatever? And I know what you're saying there, and I agree 100%. That dude's a douchebag that says that. You know, shut your freaking mouth and get out of my way. But that being said, that dude motivates me. You know, right? So I've been that guy. I don't know if I should admit. Well, yes, I should admit it, but I'm not necessarily proud of it. But when I've led certain people in the past, I have used that as a way of doing it. But you have to know how somebody's wired. Right? So if you know where your heart is, and you know how they're wired, they may be mad at you for a minute, but if you help them catch another gear, then I wouldn't say it's necessarily wrong to do that. Now, you better make some deposits before you try to make that withdrawal.
For sure. I see where you're coming from. 100%. Yeah, I agree with it. My former boss did that to me all the time. Hey, Chris, what's your monthly goal? This. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
God,
but
I hate
now
you so much.
On the flip side of that, though, if you're not really in tune with the person that you're saying that to, and you say that, and they receive it differently. Like that, their dad always told them they weren't good enough, and so now they have doubt. Then that's on you. Like that's on you as a coach or a mentor or whatever, that you need to learn their language better. Like you don't need to be saying that to everyone. That's not a blanket way to motivate people, right?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you guys. I think Wilson said something that was really impactful. You want to burn the bridges, remove things that you love. If they're in your way, remove things that you love, and you'll start to become more motivated to move forward because you want to regain those things that you love to do. And maybe if it's a hobby kind of thing that's standing in your way, that's taking up time, maybe it's time to go achieve that goal that you're trying to do. You need to put more effort and emphasis into the goal. Maybe it does require you to trim that fat. Maybe you golf too much. Maybe you spend too much time at the bar with your boys or whatever it may be. Maybe it's time to set down the bottle, whatever it is. No judgment here. I'm just saying that's a way to put your back against the wall. Now you've removed the things that you actually love or really care about that you really want to do. It'll drive you forward. Now on the flip side of that, I agree with you two about the spoken word. It's one of the things that I did when I went into the gym. In there, I was telling some of the guys, my expectation is to compete elite.
Man, you said it now.
Not only that, but guess what happens when you verbalize it?
You brought life to it.
People start watching you.
Right. Yeah.
For me, if people are watching me, dude, backs against the wall. There ain't no way I'm going that way. I'm going this way. And I don't care if I die doing it. And inject some competition in your life. You want to put your back against the wall? Start competing. Competition is the best thing in the world. It's the best thing this country ever did was create a free market society where they can create competition in business. That's why we are the economic power of the world. That is exactly why. So take that. It works. Use it in your life. Create competition within your life if you need to do that kind of thing to motivate yourself. And tell your family, tell your kids. If you have goals in life, if you have things you want to accomplish, tell your family and your kids. I promise you your kids will keep you accountable. I can't say shit to Maverick unless I mean it. Because he will hold me accountable. A month later, he'll be like, oh, you said we were going to Disney World. We ain't in Disney World. Kind of thing. So, and I'm using that as a little bit of an embellishment, but that's real stuff, though. And they'll hold you accountable. But another benefit of that is when you tell your kids and you tell your family and you verbalize that shit, for one, it gives you power. When you verbalize stuff, there's power in that. Because if you don't tell anybody and you just hold it inside on what you're trying to do, then you'll give yourself an out. But if you verbalize it to everybody around you and people know what you're trying to accomplish or what you are going to accomplish, we'll just speak it like that, what you are going to accomplish, then there's another level of accountability. That's what I'm talking about. Find some people. Find some folks around you that will hold you accountable and bust your balls if they need to. But make sure they're people that you trust. Make sure they're people that you, like Cameron said, that have made deposits to the point where you want to listen to them say, bro, like somebody that's been sitting on their couch for 6 months and comes up and goes, I thought you said you were going to be elite. Like, I thought you said you weren't going to develop diabetes by 26. Come on, man. Don't give me that bullshit.
I forgot what I was going to say. I had my hand raised.
It was really good.
We were
that was a stiff finger, man. I was excited about hearing it.
I had this
talking
point.
about your family, talking
point.
about your family and telling your family what you're going to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you said make sure you're vocalizing it. Because it's easy to let you. Or did you just?
I just boomed
yourself.
I did.
He just.
So
it wasn't myself.
to the audience.
Okay. I didn't know. I couldn't tell what he was looking at. Josh has mirrors set up in here.
Yeah, right there.
I forgot to put those in here so you can look at yourself from time to time.
No, if we do that, we won't be any production.
Lord have mercy.
It would be very.
He won't even say anything. It just.
Yeah,
just
hey, y'all want to shut me up? Just put a mirror right here. Apparently, I'm a self-centered, egotistical bastard.
So, anyways, you said it.
Borderline.
Now that we're done talking about Josh.
Yeah. Are you done talking about Josh?
Hey, are you done, though?
No. So, no, what I was going to say, we love each other. We're having fun. If you don't tell other people, and it's just internal, you were saying it's easier to let yourself off the hook. It is easier initially. Because nobody else knows. Internally, you're going, nobody knows how far I was going to run today. So if I stop a little early, it's okay. Nobody knows. And that will be easy for a period of time. But long term, it will be hard as hell because you are crushing your self-image. Absolutely. Because you are not holding yourself accountable to yourself. You're not accomplishing the things that you already said you were going to do, and internally it will eat you alive.
I couldn't agree with that more.
And the point of that is, say it. Like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to say it to you, because then if I don't do it, I'm not going to let myself off the hook as easily, if at all. So I'm going to grow, and if I do let myself off the hook, I'm going to adjust, and you're going to say something to me, so I'm not dying inside. I'm just not dying inside. It'll be uncomfortable right now as opposed to uncomfortable 10 years from now when I'm sitting in my dark room, sucking my thumb. I don't know. It has to be dark. It can be daylight.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's super descriptive.
Yeah.
Do you do that now?
I mean, sometimes.
Super descriptive.
Sometimes.
Sit in my room, sucking my thumb for about 4 minutes and 59 seconds on the floor on the carpet with a rug in the corner.
As I roll.
In the fetal position.
Right.
No clothes on. In the shower.
I got to be honest. So there's a shirt that I want that makes a really bold statement, but I know that it has to be earned. And on said shirt, it says, "We're not the same."
It's a good point that it has to be earned, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you just get on there and get it, you're missing it. And we're not the same, actually. You're right.
Right.
I don't want to be the same as you if that's the case. But it's neat. And what's neat is the following behind the shirt, knows. People don't get that stuff without getting it, which is freaking
That's that
cool.
2%,
Yeah,
is the way I see that shirt. Is at 2%.
But I think the guys you run with are going to be very indicative of the goals that you set. Right. So if you'd asked me, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, what my goals would be, I'd probably give you some kind of leaderboard for some game I was playing. The goals nowadays would be more business oriented, leadership oriented. And probably my goals would be more or less the goals of someone else. In my mind, everyone's idea of success is different. In my mind, it's teaching other people, it's developing other people into leaders and watching them grow and achieve what they want to achieve. That's my success, right? And the goals I set are with those people within business. Obviously, I have my own personal goals, stuff like that. We're setting health goals now because sorry, Pops, but I don't want to be on the same level of health you are at your age. So I appreciate you setting that example. Speaking you to Dad, if you're listening. But I know you can beat that too, so I think once again, it falls back to me helping other people succeed, I guess. But I think it be very, very careful on who you hang out with, because that will determine what your goals are and where you will end up in life. I still, don't get me wrong, I still love playing video games, and sure, I have small goals in the games that I play, and sometimes I want to beat them a certain amount of time, but they're not the majority, right? That's my dark side that I tap into for stress relief. They talk about that in Relentless. Other people have different dark sides. Mine's pretty E-rated, I guess. I don't know. But
E-rated.
But
What?
The video games aren't, but it's very PG, right? So I just like my dark side is delving into competitive, sometimes toxic video games. So, but where other people's could be, I don't know, cheating on their wife, you know what I'm saying? Different dark sides. Professional athletes, dark sides is what I'm talking about there. But I think the biggest thing is watch who you're hanging out with, because that's going to determine what kind of goals you set and where you're going to be in life. Obviously, books, stuff like that, too, are going to determine it as well, but that's also going to come with who you're hanging out with. So as far as burning the ships like you're talking about, JP, no plan B. Set a goal that you know is achievable, but it's going to challenge you. You should have a gut feeling that makes you uncomfortable, but you're going to have what you want in that amount of time. Like Cameron said, set a certain time, right? So you should have that. I remember even as a kid, I'll never forget this, because everything that I've wanted in my life, I had the exact same gut feeling on. I remember seeing the Pokemon card. This is me in elementary school. Pokemon card, the trading card game, right? And the commercial comes on, and I remember having this gut feeling I'm gonna have that shit. I'm gonna get that, right? I don't care what I'm mowing yard. I don't care what it is. I know internally I'm gonna have that. And throughout life, I have my brain knows when I see something, I don't even have to say it out loud anymore. It's I'm gonna have that shit. It's a weird, strange thing. Candy pulled up a Range Rover, Land Rover. I don't know the difference. Forgive me. They're both expensive, I'm pretty sure.
I think a Range Rover is a type of Land Rover, or the opposite.
Maybe yes. Okay, you're probably right.
Something like that.
Land Rover is a company.
Yeah.
Okay, Range Rover is the vehicle.
model.
Yeah,
Okay. So that's what it was. and it was a used one or whatever. But it was like there was a gut feeling about it. I'm gonna have one of those suckers. I've had that for every time that vehicle shows up. I have one of those feelings. And the only difference between me and having it is setting a goal to fucking get it. That's it. And saying it out loud until now I've said it.
Did.
Right? Damn.
Candy,
Range
you
Rover.
hear that?
Feel free to
I
check
know.
back
About to
in.
get one.
Send messages. Ask
Yeah.
about the Range Rover. You can hit him up at
Oh,
Mr.
my
O'Neill.
Yeah, right. On Instagram. Yeah.
Hey, I want
I'll
to go
show-
back to that shirt because you were talking about being an example, and that shirt says we're not the same. And I think
Oh,
what would be
yeah.
really cool is if on the back of it said, "But we could be."
Ooh.
You know what I mean? That is burning. That is putting your ass on the line to be an example, but it's also encouraging the person that needs somebody to follow.
I almost want to look it up and see if it actually says it on the back.
And if it doesn't, we're gonna make one.
I was gonna
Oh,
say.
yeah.
Dude, that's what's up. I like that. I like that a
That's
lot.
solid.
I
You know
like
what?
that a lot.
It's a rally call. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, it is.
I can make that happen, guys.
Yeah, no, I just
Wilson knows a guy.
No, I love that because I'm very much so the same mindset that like what O'Neill was talking about. That kind of stuff relates to me. Like when I see stuff that we are not the same, that's what I want. I don't want to be like everybody else. Zero interest in being average, but the fact of the matter is you got to draw a line and move forward. That's what we're getting to here is the ones that are not the same, the ones that can claim we are not the same. They drew a line in the concrete and they move forward regardless. I'll tell you, some of the most successful people in the world that you'll meet or the ones that have achieved the highest levels of whatever it is that they're doing, I don't care if it's fitness, business, whatever it may be, family, there were no off-ramps. Their ships were burned. Those individuals made a commitment and they moved forward with it. And that's why they became great. That's the only reason that they became great. They executed daily and there was no out.
And they lost people along the way.
Of course they did.
And I don't mean like lost people like they died. They probably did. But they lost relationships along the way because people didn't relate to it or they didn't want to keep up with it or they just, whatever the reason. But there's certainly a mentality of, listen, my purpose, my calling on my life is this. For me to not accomplish that it's sad. It's not right. There's something wrong with it. So if I don't accomplish that, or if I don't fulfill my purpose because of this relationship I have, number one, if that person is that relationship, you should feel terrible about that. Like if you truly love me, you would want me to accomplish my purpose. Mm-hmm. You'd want me to accomplish what God put me on this earth to do, right? And that may mean that we don't see each other as much or talk as much or whatever. It may mean we don't even relate. But that doesn't matter. I'm being the best me that I'm supposed to be. You be what you're supposed to be, right? But the people that truly are great have really said, you know what? It sucks. It sucks that, me and so-and-so aren't boys anymore, but it just didn't line up with my calling on my life,
That's okay.
It's okay. It's fine.
Biggest thing is don't be the guy that life has to get you to the rock bottom place before you make a decision to make a change. You could do that now by just doing it because we talk about it all the time. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. So if you're living an average 80% of life, you're eventually the big bad wolf is going to come and something's going to happen to where it's going to put you against the wall. Don't be in that position. Put yourself in a position now to start now and move forward and cut the fat out of your life, cut the toxic relationships out of your life. If you're not married and you're with I've seen this so many times that they're dating somebody just because they're having sex. You can have sex with a lot of people out there, just calling out what it is. That's all you're stuck in that relationship because of that. You're thinking,
why would you want to be stuck in a relationship where you're having sex with one person when you can have sex with thousands?
Yeah,
of people?
whatever.
No, I'm just saying, like you think that this is the only girl or this is the only guy that's gonna get you the way you are. I don't know what the hell you're thinking, but anyway, if they're toxic and they're not supportive and they're not helping you achieve what you want to achieve in life, dude, cut them out. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, you got to make those hard decisions. Sometimes you do, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to be because there's a lot of people that I know. They're like, oh, I don't want to hurt somebody. I don't feel good about them. I don't want to do this, or they're just if they don't have me, they don't have anything. Well, that's on them. That's not you. And if you ain't going to get nothing out of that relationship other than them dragging your ass down, that's on you, and you have to answer to that in the future.
I'm gonna tell you something else that's okay that a lot of people don't realize is okay these days. It's okay to be abstinent for a while. I mean, it really is okay. I'm not judging you if you're not. I'm just saying, like, it may be okay for you to just wait until you have a real relationship in your life. Just try it. Just try it.
Sex complicates
Nah.
things, man. Just call it what it
He
is.
said,
Oh, well, hey, we're all married.
nah.
So there is
That's awesome.
there is a little
Pass.
truth.
Cameron over here trying to drop off some nuggets over here. I was like, nah.
There is a little bit of truth to that.
There
Now,
is, for
my-
sure.
JP's
yeah.
a little bit. I'm not gonna say there's a lot of truth.
No,
there.
my dad was talking about that. And I'll go ahead and put it out there. You know, that's what he said. He was like, man, after I got my divorce and stuff, I decided that I was going to remove it altogether. Absence was the way that I was going to go and stuff. And he said, you'd be amazed how clear your mind starts to become. You know, and I was like, is that how long does it take before it clears up? You know, that was my question.
It's more than 9 months, that's for sure.
Yeah. Like, jeez. Like,
I can handle like 7 days.
is it like the whole withdrawals thing from like drugs? It's like
Yes.
it just peaks
Yes.
and stuff, and then it finally goes away.
That's why you're in the corner sucking your thumb, sweating. It's like you're having withdrawals.
Oh, that's the truth. Oh man, that's awesome. But that's another great point to just kind of drawing a line in the concrete, man, and putting the wall behind you. And it's painful. And let me preface this. And I probably should have done this from the very beginning. If you're not creating goals, then this isn't even for you. This doesn't even matter to you. So you should just go ahead and tuck this away in the
You
archives.
should go ahead and tuck it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a little bit later on. Let's start with goals. So go back and listen to the last episode, set some goals. Who we're talking to, and O made a good point with this, who we're talking to is that 20% that does make goals. They create goals in their lives and stuff like that, but maybe they haven't been able to achieve them, and they don't understand why. A lot of the reason is because they haven't burned their ships yet. Okay, so we're going to wrap things up. You guys got any last words before we wrap things up?
No, I think the only I say no and then I have words. Yeah,
Right.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
We're good. But what I would
I've
say,
got nothing, but I got about 30 minutes worth of good shit I want to say. No, I would just say, like, really take this to heart. You know, I think some of this is probably either the first time some people are hearing this, or maybe it's just really hard to hear. Like there's some things we talked about that it may be just really hard for you to accept. That's okay. Like, it doesn't mean you shouldn't accept them. You know, I tell our kids all the time, we tell them, hey, it's time to go to bed, or hey, it's time to go brush your teeth. And they're like, I don't want to. And I literally, I don't even argue. I say, that's okay. You don't have to want to. Yep. You just don't have to. We're still gonna. Yep. So stop worrying about what you want to do. When I say what you want, I mean like what you're feeling of wanting to do. Start thinking about what you really want to accomplish, not just how you want to feel right now. And that'll make a huge difference in your life.
I think the longer you put off making goals and striving to achieve them will put your success off that long. So you can either wait and set goals later, or say, or like Josh said, man, I can just do it tomorrow. It's not a big deal, right? You're putting back your success one whole another day. Yeah. And if that's the case, then we ain't the same.
But we could be. The biggest thing is you got to understand that you have the power. Nobody else is going to do it for it. Nobody else is going to do it for you. It's not going to happen just by sitting on the couch. You got to make the effort. That's if you want it. If not, stay in the 80%, stay average, and not achieve what you could achieve. It's like what JP talks about. It's like 5 years from now, you're going to meet the person that you could have been. Don't let that pass you up, but strive to become better than the person you would be meeting in 5 years from now. You just got to be serious about your life. Live for a purpose and go become.
Yep, absolutely. So we love you guys, and genuinely, we really do. We do this because we genuinely love you guys. All the listeners, we appreciate the support and stuff like that. And just keep in mind that you're going to become what you tolerate. So please be very careful about what you tolerate in your life. You heard tons of examples about how, you know, you can kind of waver back and forth and you sit in a toxic environment or whatever it may be. If you got to cut ties, cut ties and move forward. If something's holding you back, then you got to cut it loose and you got to move forward. Nobody said it was going to be easy. It's like Cam said, it's not about your feelings. It's about what has to be done. Nobody asked if you wanted to. Ultimately you set a goal and it needs to be accomplished. Now, outside of that, think about it. Like, where can you burn your boats? Just take this episode and soak it in a little bit. Where can you burn some boats? You got areas in your life where you let yourself off the hook often. Maybe it's your diet. Maybe it's the way you treat your wife. Maybe it's the time you spend with your kids. Maybe it's you indulging in things personally that take away from the things that are truly important to you. So just find areas that you can burn your boats and write it down. Write it down. I'm going to burn the boats in this area, and make that statement to yourself. That's something that you can take from this conversation. Like, just verbalize it. And I don't care if it's you verbalizing it to yourself in the mirror. If that's weird to you, then just do it for a little bit. It won't be weird anymore. You'll start to see the effects. And go become as hard as a woodpecker's lips, because ultimately you are going to have to be as hard as a woodpecker's lips to accomplish anything great. And understand that there's no qualms about that. There's no secret about that. I don't care if you've ascended to the height of athletic realm, business realm, whatever it may be. The individuals that are at the top are not weak, pussified excuse makers. I promise you. That is not who they are. I promise you, they got there because they were as hard as a woodpecker's lips. Okay? So you just take that to heart. But no, seriously though, we really do love you guys. Understand that the road to greatness is not easy. There's potholes. You're gonna fall in different areas. You're gonna go through some of the toughest times of your life, but it will be worth every single challenge you have to go through to get there. I promise you that. And I haven't seen the full extent of it, but I've been privileged to be mentored as these other men at this table have been, to see what the lifestyle looks like when you do chase greatness. So go out there and chase greatness, guys. Remember, winners win.